welcome to yet another exciting webinar that we have along with us for all our viewers on YouTube and Facebook. So, as you know, that we've been trying to reach out to everyone, and we're trying to bring out a special series regarding the CTX keyboards and talking about its features and functionality. But today we have a very interesting topic. That topic is basically about song composition and all that is around song composition, because we have witnessed a lot of questions from our viewers, from our users, and generally in the music community regarding song composition. So as you're all aware that we in our CTX keyboards have included a feature which basically is a MIDI recorder, a 17 track MIDI recorder, where you can lay down multiple tracks and compose yourself, which is absolutely vital apart from your usual bit of playing. Because I personally I feel that if you can compose, you can, you are there moving ahead as a musician. So in order to talk about more on this, we have along with us Mr. Abraham Samuel George, and he is joining us again this evening, basically give throw more light on this subject and provide his expert opinion on on this particular topic, and all the basic things that one needs to consider before beginning song composition as a learner, and basically all the ways to navigate around it and get better at it. So I'm now going to introduce Mr. Abraham Samuel George. Hi, Abraham.
Hello, Abhishek. Good evening.
Hi, it's great to have you once more. And this is a great topic that we're going to talk about. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I hope you are as well. So, just on an introductory note regarding this particular topic, song composition, how important do you feel that a normal learner who's learning the keyboard, who's learning his, scales, and probably has surpassed grade 2 or grade 3, is that the right time to get into song composition and try composing a few lines here and there?
Basically, the song composition is something is coming out of within. Like it comes out of yourself. If you have a musical talent, definitely you will be composing a music even before you start playing or performing an instrument. And this happens with most of the people. Like I've seen with students who are joining for keyboard or for vocals or many other instruments, violin, guitar. Usually the parents would say that like my son or daughter used to play some music at home. So we found that they have the talent for this instrument. We found they have the singing capability. All those things that they found from their homes, and that's how they come to the music teacher. So that is the first step of music composition, because like they try to reproduce what they got from somewhere. They might have heard it from the TV, they might have heard it from somewhere outside. But this is the thing where it starts the composition, the first step of composition. I think everybody does this. So that is why like music composition is a doable thing for everybody. Yeah, that is the first step, I think. And what happens then after is like students would try to like once we give a lesson to them, they might be doing it in 5 minutes, and back at home they'll be trying some other music. Now, this is another step of composition. Why? The reason is like they won't be exactly reproducing the same thing. In spite of that, like they have all this music around them, they have the schools around them, but they won't be able to do it. But what they do is they try to recreate it in some way. Eventually, it becomes an improvisation. So all these factors, like we don't see the exact compositional output at the first at the beginning, but what you see is like they have a taste for composition which is coming out, and this is something which we call it as like the first stage of composition. And if you give that student an idea how to do it, they will definitely carry on with that and proceed with the composition. So
All right, then that's a very good insight from your end. But to a lot of our viewers, we face this question a lot, many times. A lot of people ask that how much experience does someone need on the particular instrument before they actually start with writing songs? So, is there a particular timeline? Is there a particular number of years or number of months that you should be playing, or a particular grade that you have passed? That after that you can begin start composing songs.
I don't think that you need a grade for starting to compose. Uh, that's a good question because many people actually wonder that whether they are doing it right or not. You can do that very simple or you can make it complicated. That is your choice. You can make a song with three chords, just three chords if you're doing on a major scale, if you're doing it just like these are the three chords which I played is 1, 4, and 5. That if it's in the C major scale, that is what everybody starts with, the white keys. On a C major scale, it is a C major, F major, and G major. Okay, so you can just, I put a beat and I'll just show you how that can work. And this is what you need. And for example, if I'm going to play with some lead instruments, I'm going to play only those three chords at the left hand, and then I'll play something on the right hand, a random melody.
Abraham, I think the keyboard output is not sounding. Can you just check that? It's
Really?
yeah, the keyboard output sound is not coming.
It's not coming up. Okay. Can you hear this?
Can you just try again? No.
Just a second. I think it was there before. Can you hear that clearly? All right. So what I was saying is, we put just three chords to make a song, to start a song. All we need is a C major, G major, F major, and G major. So 1, 4, and 5 is in this in, in in a C major scale. So if I make a melody with that, just like okay. So what happens is like after a few classes or after a few learning, I realize that there is one more chord which I can put into it, and I'll put an A minor to it, which is actually called the sixth note or the sixth minor. So which is also called as a relative minor. So I'm going to put the relative minor to it. And then I realized that I can put more and more and more chords. Now, this is the process. This is a process of learning. So, to start composition, you don't require all the chords at the beginning. All you need is just the three chords, 1, 4, and 5. Now, you might think that this is, I'm talking only about the major chord. What happens if it's a minor scale? Minor scale is the same thing, 1, 4, and 5, but 1 and 4 are minors, and the fifth is a major. I'll show you how that is. Okay, put anything, put anything. So this is how this goes on. Now, it can be asked a question like what codes can be put into it. Like For example, if it's a C minor, what all chords can be put into it? The simple answer is like every note within the scale. For example, the C major scale, you have 7 notes. Every 7 note has a chord that can be played within a song. Now, for example, the formula for that is 1, 4, and 5 has to be. This is in the major scale. I'm talking about formula of major. 1, 4, and 5 has to be major. 2, 3, and 6 has to be minor. And 7 is a diminished. So I'll show you on the accompaniment side how it sounds like. It's a 1, 2 minor, 3 minor, 4 major, 5 major, 6 minor, 7 diminished, back to 1 major. So this is the formula for like simple terms. Put this formula into anything, you can start composing. Now, this can also inspire you to sing a song. Now, all you have to do is find out a beat and a tempo, and you just play these chords. Done. C major is good enough to start, and you don't know how to play any other scales, like all other scales on the black keys and the white keys too. You can just transpose it. So just go through the transposition at the beginning, which is not an ideal way as a professional musician, but this is how we start. Everybody does the same thing. You can start by transposing, and gradually, once you are like thorough with all the scales, you can just play literally the same thing. So that is the idea. Okay. The question is a specific formula to writing? I think I've answered that question. Now, Abhishek, yeah.
Right. So I basically also wanted to understand that using this particular method, I have come across a lot of people who fail to understand that you just keep on adding layers and layers. So when do you actually decide that this is when my song is finished? I am now done with my song, and there is. I'm asking with respect to two aspects. One is, of course, the length of the song, and the second is, of course, how many tracks that one needs to add. So, for example, in the keyboard that you're talking about, GTX 9000, it's got a 17 track sequencer. But does that mean one needs to utilize all 17 tracks, or does that mean, how many tracks are actually sufficient to basically do what you're trying to do?
Okay, that's a good question. Yeah, thank you for the question, actually. I should then, yeah, I'll play a pattern now. This is a pattern which I have taken from Hollywood background scoring. So what I'll do is that I will put this as a song for 16 bars. Okay, and I'm going to take a beat for that. Just counting it. Now this is a tempo. I'm just reducing. First, you need to find out the tempo at which you want to do that. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the tempo of what I need. You can either tap it. So I got it as 110. And so this is my tempo. So I'm going to find out a tone for it. I'm going to play first. Now the question is like the first one will be always the rhythm thing. You can play either with the accompaniment and the beat, or you can just play the drums literally. So I'm going to just play the simple drum kit thing. So I'm going to put a drum machine for that. So here we go. I'm just reducing the tempo 105. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all I want. Okay. So you want to hear that? Okay. you might be wondering what that is. So I'm going to play a music. I'm going to put a pad now, and it is sounding like this. I'll take a pad, this one. Just the strings would be good enough. But now here we go. With a recording of the first track. Now the record track number 1. Here we go. Ready? Now, I deliberately did that. I'm going to stop it. Can you tell me what is the mistake here? I didn't follow the tempo.
Yeah.
So I'm going to delete that thing. So I'm just going to erase that and put it again. Oh, here we go. So what I did is that I just deleted the whole thing. Instead, what I can do is I can put a beat from everything. So that would be easier for you. Yeah, record track. Um, beat number. I'm checking drum machine for this time. Okay, here we go. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that is something which I'm going to put on, and then I will be. You want to hear that? Okay, so I can put a tone to it, a brightness to it. Here we go. Now, I can add a layer. Now, the question is, how many layers can we put on top of this? Okay, now it sounds like this. If I want to play, okay, now I can put now. This is just a chord pattern which I just put. You can put a bass guitar on top of it. Definitely you require a bass. Then comes a chord. This is just a chord like a pad. Usually we put a pad for that, and the pad will be sounding as a smooth thing for your background thing, just like this. Let's see how it works. Yeah. Okay, so I put pad 2. Now this goes on. You have 16 20 tracks that we're just putting on there. Now, the question is, what kind of music are you going to produce? Are you going to produce a very big orchestral music, or you're going to give a background for a song, or you're going to give something like a small sentimental music or something like that, then it might work. So I can put, like, the thing is, like, I can put a lead melody also on top of this one. You can just, this is just a chord pattern which is actually followed now here. And if you think that you can put a synth on top of it, I'm just going to put a synth. Okay, that's the last thing I'm going to add now on top of this thing, and I'll tell you what this is about. Okay. Here we go. And this is the third track. And eventually it sounds like this. Now, coming to this, coming back to the same topic, like, we will be knowing when our song is finished is how much what we want is supposed to. Okay. It depends on how much we want. Primary question is that what kind of music are you going to compose? Are you going to compose a orchestral music? So you will be adding layers of all the instruments. Now you should know the instruments that you are putting in. You can put the strings. The strings can be from violin, viola, cello, double bass, or you're putting the wind family, you're putting the brass family, you're putting the pianos in, you're putting everything else. Like, you might put electronic instruments too. Like, it doesn't belong to a part of the orchestra instruments though, but still, in the modern music, we put electronic instruments like the synth and all to it. So it depends on that. If you're just putting only an accompaniment, then I'll just show you how that you do it. So, or if you want to do a music just for a live performance and you don't know much to perform, you don't know all this tracking thing, you can just perform it live. Okay, so what do we do for that? We come straight into the, I'm just taking a tone, it's a beat like this, and that's a beat. All right, I'll take this beat, and you know how to perform that. Okay. This is the beat, and you know how to play on top of it. Now, the easiest option is to just record it as a normal recording thing. Just I'll be just playing. Yeah, here we go. This is a music which. And you make the variation. And it's there. And like, that is just a raw thing. Now, here, the rhythm and the accompaniment plus the main melody, whatever you play live, is already there. Now you can put tracks on top of it. Now that depends on what you want. So sometimes if you're writing a music for somebody, they would say that I need this much instruments for that. Or you started composing for yourself, it's a very soft melody line and you need only piano thing, then definitely you need to play only that. Like you don't require anything else. So primarily the point is primarily depends upon what you want and the music what you like. Now, like looking at this one, I'm not very much pleased with what I did. So So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add a layer to it because I'm not pleased with that. So I am looking for a layering part, uh, which will be something like this. Okay, here we go. I'm going to record the first track on top of it. Here we go. Wait, okay, I just actually, I was continuing with this. Yeah. Actually, your screen has gone off and the poster has come. I was wondering what happened. Oh, okay, okay. Mm, oh my God. That's 100%. Sorry for this. Yeah, I'm just doing it. Okay. Check. Check, check. Abhishek, can you hear me? I think I lost. Check. I think I'm live now. That Abhishek, can you confirm? Yes. Really? Oh my God, what's that? It shows that I'm live. Can you check on the web page? Two, three, one. Yeah, you're live now. The net connectivity and everything is perfectly good here. Same thing. Hello, check. Can you hear me? Oh, I'm sorry. I think I lost. I think some internet connectivity issues. All right. In the meantime, what I was doing is like I was keeping on composing this thing. What I said is like I was not that happy with what I composed at the beginning, so I just made something like this. Put put a tag to it. Okay, so I'm just finishing with that topic because you all know that how to record this thing. It's very simple. Once again, I'm just telling you this. A recording option has 16 plus one track, 17 tracks altogether. But one track which is like just for recording the accompaniment as it is as live, how you play it. Just play it together, and you can add on top of it, and you can just like if you don't like one of the parts, you can just erase it, or you don't like the entire part, you just clear that thing, and it goes out. Now I'm just moving ahead with the questions now because I got a question here. How to compose music to even emotion? Would like to know the relation between emotions and selection of chords? Yes, that is a very relevant question. Mostly uh, every music director would love to uh, work on it. Even like every musicians are actually trying to like capture the heart of the audience as good as they can. Now, usually the emotional touch is done by um, the auxiliary chords or the additional chords than the 1, 4, and 5. The 1, 4, and 5 will be always giving you is just giving this support for only for the performance. But when it comes to the relative minor, now just play that with the minor. Just a second. All right. What I said is, I was just looking at the tabs. What I said is that put some minors to it. When you are on a major key, put some just this is just majors. Put some minors. How do you find this major? Like if it's a C major scale, like talking from C major is very easy to understand. Yeah, when you're playing on a C major scale, you're playing C major, G major, F major. Instead, you just put A minor, E minor, um, D minor. Okay, so this is how it's actually going on. Now, if you replace the major chords with minor chords, definitely we'll be having some emotional like contrast on your performances. Now, that is the simplest part. But there are composers who actually work, like Hanson, John Williams, all the Hollywood leading composers. They work on a different level. What they do is they mix all the minors with the major, like the one which I played before. Okay, this is just a pattern. This rotates all the time. You can just put this pattern all the time, and now this eventually this music is done for emotional upliftment, and you're back to the track again. So definitely there are chords. There is a lot of connection between emotion and chords. Yeah, and it helps you a lot in the composition part. Like usually, the emotional attachment is done on a background scoring basis, not for the songs. Though. On a songs, you don't want that much emotional attachment, like because you have a same pattern which is actually following all through. But when it comes to the background scoring, you're writing music for a scene. You want the audience, you want the listener to feel the visuals or to take yourself to that scene. So then it is here where the music, emotional music, is more relevant. And that's thank you for asking that question. Tips on how to fix chords for a melody line. I think I have started a little bit of that. Like the easiest way is to find out the 1, 4, and 5. 1, 4, and 5 means the first note of the scale, like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and fa, and so, sa, re, ga, ma, pa, la, ni, sa, re, ga, ma, pa, sa, ma, and pa. Take those three notes in and play its majors or minors according to the what scale we are doing. So that is an easy way. Now the second thing is what I said. Find out every note like 1 to 7, and it has its own chords, and play that. So once that is also done, now find out if the song goes out of the scale. Now you have a song which is actually now this is a song. The song goes. This is a scale, and you have a new song. So there is a small variation, one note which has gone out of the key. Identify that. Now, following the notes is the easiest way to find out the chords. That's the first one. That's the first way. Now, putting complicated chords is a very secondary thing. You don't have to do that at the beginning because, like, once you're very much thorough with that, you can just go for the -7s or the augmented notes or the adding 13, diminished 7. All those chords you can just put it later, not at the beginning. At the beginning, just follow the chords that is going along with the melody line. And now, easy. The tip for that is find out the chord, which any chord that is staying there within a phrase. Now, you have a phrase. What is a phrase means? So this is a phrase. These are 3 different phrases. Now, the first phrase. So that is a phrase of ta 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 ta. It's a ta ta ta. That's I got a chord there. Ta ta ta. So I play one chord for that. Ta, 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 ta. The second one. So that's a ta ta ta. I got 3 notes from that. I play that chord for it. Ta 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 ta. And the third one is. I got the third one. Da, da, da. So this is how we find it out. Like that is what I said. Follow the melody line, and definitely you will get the chord from it. You will get three notes. That is a 1, 3, and 5 is usually called as a triad. If it is complicated, I'm just making it simple. Every chord has three notes minimum. There are chords which is having 4 notes and 5 notes and things like that. So at least you can make a chord with 3 notes. The minimum you require is a 3 notes. There are chords with 2 notes too, but that is not a consideration for the time being. 3 notes are required. That is the alternative notes. If it is a 1, then next is a 3, then next is a 5. So press all together, you'll get a chord. Now, find how many these triads are available in your phrase. Just this is a phrase. We don't play chord for every single note. We play chord only for the phrases. So here is the phrase. Ta, 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 and second note. Ta, 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 ta. So that is how it advances. So pick a phrase and find out which chord suits to it. Done. So that is how we play for, we accompany, we do the chords for each section. All right, and I have a question. How do you compose music for a background score, scene with this keyboard? Yeah, I think I have mentioned a few of them before. Like you need to look at what emotion that you have to show. Now, composing for a background music is not as easy as composing for for a song. For a song, all you have to look at is how many chords that you require. But while you compose for a background music or for a scene, it is not just one scene. It's a story, the whole story. You should know how to convey or how to write the story using music. That is ideal. So what you have to do is that this is not just only playing with one single note, one single voice in it. You have to use all. That is the relevance of keyboard in the background scoring. You have to use different voices. Now I'm just using only the strings. Where do I use the strings? I can use the strings only where you have like there's something anxiety coming. And when it comes to very soft ones, you cannot use all the heavy ones. You can just use the violins instead. In the Western music, usually the dominant area of instrumentation is like taken over by strings. The reason is like it is more like closer to human voice. The strings are more closer to human voice, and because of that reason, the strings are mostly considered as the major instrument for the background scoring and all the concepts, because that is an integral part of the orchestral music. All right, so and the strings is a large family, which is having violins, the first violin, the second violin, even though it's just violins alone, but still you consider it one and two. You have the violas, you have the cellos, you have the double bass, you have the horn. All this family makes together a gigantic thing, and they can play a lot of things. They can play pizzicatos, they can play the slides, they can play the different articulations. So that actually comes here. Now, uh, with a keyboard, in the modern times, we have special effects to be put into it. Now, this keyboard has, the question was like, how can you compose with this keyboard? Yes, this keyboard has some good tones for special effects. They have general tones. They have SFX option in this one, and all other things like which is actually going out of our topic. So I just really want to go into it. So you got all the tones here. use wherever you want. You cannot just sometimes in the music, in the film music, you might have seen that there's only silence. There is no music. There's no sound. So silence also plays a big part in the music production because silence, the places where you require silence, is definitely required there. You cannot make it with a sound. You cannot just recreate that silence or the emotion with a sound. Okay. Um, all right, and I'm just moving with the questions again. Tips on where to add breaks, rolls, and send to a song. Yeah, this is on a song now. Coming back from background music to the song, you're going to compose a piece of music, and you know the song is actually categorized into uh, normally as verse, chorus, and the verse will be repeating in two or three different lyrics, and coming back all the time back to the chorus. We call it A, B, A, so A, B, A, B, A, B form in Western music. But basically, it's A is the first section, B is the chorus, and A is repeating again because that's the same tune. We compare in terms of tune or in terms of the melody line or the music. Now, so you will be knowing, usually what we do is that at the end of the verse, we put a break. We put the film and go from first variation to the second variation. And if you need to know that, if you know that, sorry, if you know that the song doesn't, um, okay, if you need, if you know the song is going to have it is progressing without any much emotional difference. Like you just want to slowly take into chorus. What you should do is you should not be playing that fill-in thing again. Like if you double tap again the variation itself, it will produce the fill-in. But if you just want to slowly, gradually progress into the second one, just press the two. And if you still feel that you need the fill-in roll or something like that, and just go to the two. And this is a very silent approach to the song because like you are coming from a beat perspective and you're just going slowly into the section where there is no beats at all. And you don't want the listener to understand that. Just take the beats off, everything else remains the same. And you just want to take over back. So now, usually this is done at end of a verse or end of a chorus. Now, sometimes what people do is like you will be repeating that chorus again. So I'm on the variation number, I'm on the variation number 3. So if I want to have that same chorus again, which I played on the variation 3 itself, I'll press the 3 again. So it will produce a rolling tone. Now I'll tell you a tip. If you want to stop the song with a rolling, and there's nothing, you don't need an ending. What you can do is, I'll just show you. Once the rolling is done, immediately press the stop button. You will feel like the audience will feel like it's a rolling and ending. That's a tip I just want to give you. Mostly musicians who does live does the same thing. All right, so I'm just making a quick check of things. What I was just discussing after this one. So I was talking about how you compose for background scoring and how you fix the chords and how we will be just putting the rolling and swings and breaks and everything. All right. So, but there are a lot of other things that comes with the composition part because it is not a topic that can be completely taken on a webinar, and there are many serious things that can be dealt to. So hopefully we will have some time seriously discussing on this thing because like every part of it has to be taught or spoken or discussed in detail. And there are a lot of videos of Casio itself in the YouTube and many other sources that is already available or produced from Casio itself, talking how to record this thing. And please watch that. Please watch this webinar too. If you have any questions, please write back to us, and we will be happy to answer your questions. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Bye bye. Take care.